Right guys, this video, another nice simple video. We're just going to add jump. We got move left and right, we want to add jumping. Watch carefully on this one because this is slightly more difficult than the last one. So to start with, we need to set up a layer. So click on floor, click on layer, and we're going to add a layer. This layer is going to be called ground. And we're going to go to floor and we're going to set its layer to ground. Yep. So nice and simple. It's going to make life a lot easier. This, right? So what we're also going to add, if you right click on the character, we're going to create an empty game object. We're going to call this ground check, and we are going to, if I scroll, zoom right in, we're going to move this underneath the player. So we can check this by clicking this little box up here, click blue, and we should be able to see it in the scene view now. So I'm going to put it quite a distance underneath just so I know it's working. But yeah, this is fairly simple, this next bit. So we have that, yeah, which is underneath there. We've set this to ground. So I'm going to go back into my character movement script that we were in last video. I'm going to start with a variable. My variable is going to be another public float. And this is going to be jump power. So there we go, that's easy enough, I would say. So this is where things get a little bit difficult. So at the bottom, make sure we're going to set up a zone function essentially, but make sure we're still in the script. The bottom of the script is the last curly brace. So as you can see, when I highlight that one, it highlights the first one. We need to be above that. So I'm going to type void jump, open bracket, close bracket, open curly brace, close curly brace, and then I'm just going to press enter a couple of times so we've got a little bit of room to work in here. So this is nice and easy. So we just need to set one more thing now I think on, which is a public bool, and we're going to call this grounded. So yeah, this is easy enough, this bit. I think off the top of my head, that's all we need to add. Oh no, there isn't. I do tell a lie. I'm just trying to think. I might set this to false by default because you're going to start in the air. As soon as it hits the floor, it's going to turn to true. So we're going to set up something else called a public transform, and we're going to call this ground check. I think you can probably tell what goes there. We're going to add a public layer mask called ground. And then once we've done that, we should be good to start working on the jump. Yeah, so I'm just trying to think. I think that's everything we need right there. So to start with, we're going to go with, can't even spell today. Grounded equals physics 2D dot overlap circle. So this is right, open bracket, close bracket. We're going to actually put something in these brackets though. So we're going to go with ground check dot position. That's right. Comma 0.01f, which is just checking the position, and ground. And we're going to end that line with a semicolon. So essentially what this is doing is saying our grounded boolean, which booleans are true or false. That's how they work. It's like a switch. That's true if our ground check is in the ground. That's essentially what that line's saying. Nice and simple. So yeah, that's that bit. Nice and easy. So the next bit is what we call an if statement. If you've ever done anything with like Excel, you'll know what an if statement is. So we're going to type if, open bracket, grounded, so we're checking that boolean, and, which is just another way of adding two things to an if statement, input dot get key down, and then in brackets I'm going to put space, so you can probably tell what key I'm looking for there, and we're going to open these brackets up. Then we're going to go with rigid dot add force, which we've done before, new vector 2, open close bracket, but we're going to write in there 0, comma, jump power. What we should see here now is we have set this up so that this should jump. There may be some tweaking required, but we'll make sure that this all works. But yeah, let's have a quick look. Just double checking that I've not missed anything here, which I shouldn't have. Now we're good. Right, so if we go back to Unity, right, only one way to find out, I suppose. What I am going to do just to make this more possible is I'm just going to stretch this up a little bit so that that collider is a little bit bigger, so it's easier to check to see if I've hit the ground. So I click play. Wait, let me come back out of this. I need to make sure that I can see my character. Oh, don't do that. I'm being a little bit silly here. You'll see, obviously down here, we don't have a ground check set up yet, so you just want to drag that from there into there. I got too excited, just wanted to see if it worked. And where it says ground nothing, we're going to set ground to ground, and I'm going to set jump speed to something like 10, just so I can see for definite if it works. And what we're hoping for is when the character hits this, that ticks. So I've just come off maximize on play so we can see if that works. Right, so there we go. This ground check is probably not low enough. Right, let's check that again. If I drag that down, let's check this. So, right, we've missed something. We've missed something, that's not good. Let's go back into our script. You'll find this a lot, guys, in terms of when we're playing with these kind of functions. Things will often, I say go wrong, but you'll have to work through and figure out kind of what's changed, if that makes sense, and what you need to edit. So let me see, it's grounded. This should be alright. We're getting there. There's a little. Ah, I know what it is. This is very stupid of me. Very stupid of me. I've literally missed one line of code. So we need to add an update function now. I know we removed our update function in the last video. We just need to add jump. Yeah, no, that was pretty daft. We created a function, but nothing was calling the function, so it didn't know. So yeah, void update, open bracket, close bracket, curly brace, jump with brackets at the end and a semicolon. That's how we run the jump function. That was one of the things that's that obvious that I just forgot all about it. So now we should see, fingers crossed, that we are running into errors now. This is fun. So character comes down here. Right, cool. Let's try this. Right. As we can see, we're liking this. Let me just move this up so you can see it. If you watch the tick in the bottom corner, as soon as it hits the ground, the tick activates, which means, all being well, I may have to smash this up a little bit. There we go. We can see this is starting to work now. So what this basically means now is that the mass on this is a little bit high. There we go. It'll come down at some point. So you might want to tweak the mass on this just to make it jump as high as you want it to. So I'm going to play around. I'm thinking about 0.2, maybe 0.25. There we go. That's working a lot better. So yeah, we got there in the end, I suppose. But yeah, our jump works. Lesson for you there: never forget to call the function like I just did. And obviously, you guys, you may have different masses set up. You can do this two ways. You can increase the jump power or increase the mass. I like to just do a bit of both. But yeah, so now we should have moving left and right with a jump in there. You can almost see a platform in it already. Yep. So the next video, we're going to mess around with some other platform elements, but this has been a fun video. Jump is one of the more difficult things to add, as you've probably seen with the amount of stuff we just added, but hopefully you got to it like I did. Alright, cheers guys.